Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Nick Cosgrove and I'm back with this week's No Filter Q&A. This is the episode where I answer all questions related to diet, training, and supplementation I received over the last 7 days from our in-house clients, online clients, as well as a few of our online followers. Remember, if you have any questions related to your nutritional plan, workout program, supplements you're taking, not taking, considering taking, please feel free to email me your questions at nick@foreverfitperformance.com, or you can also DM me your questions on my Instagram at @fitcosgrove_. All right, so let's get started with this week's No Filter Q&A with question number 1. Nick, how accurate are the Apple Watches when it comes to calories burned during a workout? I think they're fairly accurate. You have to remember they take into consideration what your body weight is, and then they base it basically on how much your energy you're exerting. Let's say you're 250 pounds, and they'll say, okay, so a 250-pound male is going to exert this much energy for this amount of time. So if you're doing a 60-minute workout, that could be 450 calories. If you're someone who's, say, 120 pounds, they're going to factor into that time, and then they're going to factor into that weight, and then maybe you're going to burn, say, 300 calories. Typically, the heavier you are, the more calories you burn performing the same exercise as someone who is lighter than you, right? Because you have to move more of your body, right? So you have to exert more energy. So it is fairly accurate. I wouldn't say it's precise though. At the same time though, if it's holding you accountable, why not? Like, use it. So I've got people, for example, who have Apple Watches and they come into the gym and they'll notice on a leg workout, they burn about, say, 500 calories in 60 minutes. And they ask me, they're like, do you think that's accurate? I'd say, yeah, I think that's fairly accurate based on your body weight. Yeah. Whereas someone who might weigh, say, 50 pounds more than them is burning, let's say, 600 calories. And again, I'd say, yeah, based on your body weight, that's fairly accurate. Because again, you're heavier, you're going to exert more energy to burn more calories. It's like when you see someone who's very overweight, it's very, I shouldn't say it's easy, but it's easier to get someone down in weight when they're very overweight to begin with. So if I'm working with, say, someone who's at 40% body fat versus someone who's at 15% body fat, it's going to be much easier for me to diet down the person who's at 40% and get them quicker results, I should say, than it will be for the person who's at 15%. Because the less body fat that you have, the harder it gets to get lower and lower, right? Because your body wants to hold on to that fat. So yes, they're close enough. And I say use them if they're holding you accountable. I've mentioned this before. I don't have an Apple Watch. I don't like Apple Watches. For me, I just don't like the way they look, really. And I'm a little old school when it comes to keeping myself accountable. I've always just used the mirror. So I look at my physique. Am I getting a little soft? Maybe I should cut down the calories, do some more cardio. Am I getting too big, like too muscular? Maybe I should lower the weights. So these are things I always just look at how I'm looking and how I'm feeling. That's always how I based out. I never counted calories. I don't even count calories when I do nutritional plans. They're listed in my nutritional plans on my online coaching app, but I always tell my clients, to me, they're irrelevant, because if you're trying to build muscle and lose fat, it's the macronutrients that count, right? But anyway, to go back to the Apple Watches, yes, I think they're fairly accurate. And if they're holding you accountable, definitely use them. I wouldn't say they're precise though. So don't say I burned exactly 500 calories today, but if you're aiming to burn a certain amount of calories for each workout, I say go with that. That's your goal. Like if your goal is to burn 800 calories for, 1 hour run or 1 hour spin class, whatever you're doing, if that's keeping you accountable, by all means, do it. Absolutely. But don't keep in mind, as you start to go down in weight, you're going to burn less calories. So just remember that. Okay. Next question. Hi, Nick. Why does body fat come off faster in some places over others? I've lost 15 pounds this summer, mostly from my arms and my waist, but my legs and butt are still carrying lots of fat. Genetics. The primary reason for this is genetics. Yeah, gender plays a role too. For example, I find that men have an easier time losing fat off their lower bodies than women do. Same time, I find women have an easier time losing fat off their upper bodies than men do, right? So a lot of that has to do with our genetics, where your fat cells are distributed. I always had a hard time losing fat in my lower back. So every time I get ready for a show, that would be the last place the fat would go. It would eventually go because there'd be nowhere else for fat to leave. The first place would be my face. I'd lose fat right away in my face. And then it would slowly start to come off my waist. It would start to come off my shoulders. My glutes, my hamstrings would come in very quickly, but the lower back always took the longest. And it wasn't until those last few weeks of really getting to a severe caloric deficit to get that fat off. So it just comes down to genetics. But I promise you that if you are following a weight loss plan and you are losing weight or body fat at a steady state, you will eventually lose the weight from the troubled spots. So in your case, the glutes and the thighs. So they will come off. You just have to be patient. And I tell that to a lot of my clients because like, I'm like, wow, your waist is looking so small. And then they give me their check-ins online. I'm like, your waist is looking tiny. They're like, yeah, but my ass is like not looking great. It's got cellulite. And I'm like, it'll come. Be patient. Okay. Like that's just the way your body's designed. You have more fat cells in your glutes than you do in your waist. So in your midsection. So just be patient. But if there's no more fat to be lost in the midsection or in your arms, where's it going to come from? It's going to come from your lower body next. So be patient. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't try to do anything extreme. But again, I should say that again. Do not try to do anything extreme, because I've seen people do that too. When they're not losing fat fast enough from certain areas, they go on these extreme caloric deficits for too long. The maximum time I ever went on a severe caloric deficit was maybe 2 weeks. But to do these ridiculous plans that are like 1,000 calories for 16 weeks, metabolic massacre. Don't do it. So be patient. It'll come. It's just genetics. Some people lose fat faster than others, right? Some people build muscle faster than others. It's your genetics, right? Some people like LeBron James play basketball better than others. Yeah, a lot of that is hard work, but a lot of it's genetics. So you can't change your genetics. You can't change your parents. Just work with them. Don't work against them. Nick, what's your stance on correcting people's form in the gym who are not your clients? I feel guilty if I at least don't try to correct someone so that they don't injure themselves. I don't do it. I don't correct anyone in the gym who is not my client. I actually never have. I don't like to offer unsolicited advice to anyone. So if someone's not asking, I'm not giving it. Okay. Another thing too is you have to remember is if I'm working with someone, if I'm working in a private session with an individual, or if I'm working in a group class, my focus is on the people who I'm working with. So I kind of develop tunnel vision in a sense where I'm just focused on what my clients are doing. My clients are paying me for my time, right? So I want to focus on what they're doing, not what some stranger in the gym is doing. At the same time, though, even when I'm doing my own workouts and I see other people doing things that I know are dangerous, I know they're going to potentially injure themselves, it can be difficult not to say anything, but you have to remember, I mean, we're all adults. These people are making a decision to go to the gym and work on their bodies. So with that being said, you would think that if you're going to a foreign place that you don't know how to do something, the gym, you would either A, hire a fitness professional, so you hire a personal trainer, B, join a small group class, or C, you can go on YouTube and watch tons of free exercise videos. I have tutorial videos on my online coaching app that you can just join for free, and you can watch, and then you can take them to the gym with you. And there's a step-by-step on how to perform. You say you want to learn how to perform a squat. There's a video. You take your phone out, you watch the video, you watch it again, you apply it to the exercise, and you go back and forth. And that's how you do it. Back when I first started, I didn't have coaching apps, or I didn't have YouTube. I used Arnold Schwarzenegger's encyclopedia. It's like I think a 700-page book. And I read that book front to back. And what I would do is I would take what I learned in that book. I'd say I was going to do chest in the gym, and I would try every chest exercise that was in that book for chest day. And I would go back and I'd read how to perform the exercise again. I'd read proper breathing techniques, when to focus on the concentric contraction, the eccentric contraction, which muscle bellies I should try to be feeling this in, how to establish that mind to muscle. So I take what I learned in the book and I would apply it to the gym. I'd even take that book with me to the gym. And it was a lot of trial and error, but that's how I learned. So there's no reason for someone to go to the gym and do these kooky exercises that don't make any sense, and then they injure themselves. And I see a lot of stupid shit that goes on in the gym, and it's just like, what are you doing? And it's almost like some people just don't have any sense of what's going on in their body. Like, to me, I cringe when I see certain movements, like people doing behind the neck pull downs, bouncing the bar off their back, or people doing squats where they're bent over. It looks like a good morning where they're just like fully bent over. And I'm like, you're going to injure your back. Or if you don't injure your back, you're going to injure your neck. It's accidents waiting to happen. So, and then what happens is a lot of these people do get injured and then never come back to the gym because they're either too afraid, or they don't want to look stupid again, or they just like, oh, I got injured, I don't want to go back. Who wants to go back to something they got injured at, right? So really, you only have yourself to blame, because there's options out there. If you can't afford a trainer, join a small group class. If you can't afford to join a small group class, go on YouTube. Join my online coaching app for free, and you can download all the videos right on there, no charge. You just go on the coaching app. It's Forever Fit Performance. You download it, you send me your email address, and I give you a password, and you can go on there and play with all the exercises that you want. Okay. And you can set up your own program. So really there's no excuse. So I don't correct anyone. And it's not because I don't care. At the end of the day, it's like, it's not my job to correct someone that doesn't want my help. Okay. Hey, Nick, do you think it's possible to retrain your metabolism? I've always had a super slow metabolism and was wondering if there's anything I can do to help it burn calories more quickly. You know, I'll probably get a few people that disagree with me on this, but I do think you can retrain your metabolism. And the reason I say that is because I've worked with a lot of people over the years who were once overweight, right? And they were overweight their whole lives, like from the time they were kids. And then they come work with me and I put them on a nutritional plan, get them on a training program. And I don't even put them in a caloric deficit until I need to. And then once I do, I put them in a very slight caloric deficit for a short period of time. And then once they get to their weight loss goal, say I'm working with someone who comes to me and they're 250 pounds and they say, Nick, I want to be 160 pounds. And we get them down to that weight loss goal. And we say, okay, well, now we need a maintenance program. And what I find is when I'm putting someone on a maintenance program is I'm actually able to give them more calories than they were consuming when they were overweight. And that's because they've added muscle because they've been following a weight training program and they've been rotating their macronutrients each week. Because any client that works with me on their nutritional plan will tell you, I'm a firm believer in rotating your macronutrients when you're following any nutritional plan. Okay, I find that to be crucial because it continuously keeps the body guessing. And it's like it just creates a furnace for your metabolism. So I absolutely do believe that you can retrain your metabolism. So if you're someone who is naturally, let's say, an endomorph who puts on fat easily, well, that's what you are. That's your genetics. So yes, you can put on fat easily, but if you put on lots of muscle and you're going to the gym consistently, you're weight training, you're following a fairly clean diet plan, I do believe you can actually eat quite a bit of calories, not starve yourself, have loads of energy, and still burn body fat. So I do believe you can retrain your metabolism. And like I said, I'm sure there's going to be people that disagree with me on that, say, no, your metabolism is your metabolism, you're stuck with it for life. But I've seen it happen with people I've worked with. And it amazes me. I mean, even to this day, myself, the amount of calories that I consume in a day, I should really be morbidly obese. But because I have muscle and because I'm so active, my body just burns through calories so quickly. And it's the same thing with the clients that I work with. We're just able to establish a really good rhythm and a good routine. So it's just like, it's automatic. And it's like, okay, we're going to be like a machine. You're going to eat this, weight, this, and you're going to train this, and this is what's going to happen, the final result. It's almost like I've done the formula so many times now, I know what the final result's going to be. So yes, I do think you can retrain your metabolism. I just think you have to be smart with the way that you diet and you have to be efficient with the way that you train in the gym. Hi, Nick. Any advice on how to maintain a relationship while pursuing the bodybuilding lifestyle? Bodybuilding is a selfish sport. In my opinion, it's probably the most selfish sport. It's not a team effort. It's really just like, it's all you. And you have to, it's not something that you just leave at the gym. It's not like bodybuilding is not something you just go to the gym, train for 60 minutes and you go home and call it a day. That's just working out, right? But if you're trying to do the bodybuilding lifestyle, like the lifestyle with the diet, the training, the supplementation, that's like a 24-hour job because you're cooking meals around the clock. You're focusing on your workout, what you're going to eat before your workout, what you're going to eat after your workout, how much sleep you're going to get. So I know a lot of bodybuilders who are very strict about every little thing they do in their day. They need to have their 8 hours of sleep. They need to have their 6 meals a day. They need to eat at certain times of the day. They need to have this certain meal pre-workout. They have to work out at this certain time. So it's a very selfish sport. And if you're with someone who does not want to live that lifestyle, it can be very problematic. I mean, if you look at the majority of the top Mr. Olympians, these are the guys who win at the Mr. Olympia. I think there's about maybe 17 or 18 of them. The majority of them have been divorced. So that's a stat I was actually looking at the other day. It's fairly interesting. So you think these are the guys at the top of their game and they've all been divorced. I think there's only like 2 or 3 that haven't. And again, the reason it's a selfish sport. So my recommendation is if you're with someone who's not wanting to pursue the bodybuilding lifestyle, is that you meet them halfway. You know, that you provide a sense of normalcy for your relationship. You go out for restaurants at least once a week, right? Go to a movie, you know, do normal things, have a drink every once in a while. If you drink, if you don't drink, don't drink. But if you want to have a drink, you know, you're out at like a wine bar or something, do it. Go to a concert. Because if all you do is eat, sleep, and train, to me, that's a very boring life. and it's not a fulfilling life. So I tell a lot of even my clients who I train for shows, I'm like, eat, sleep, train, and have fun. So give yourself at least 1, maybe 2 days a week where you can actually just take your foot off the gas and do it for your partner. And if it's not working out for you, then maybe you have to pursue a relationship with someone who is in the bodybuilding lifestyle or living the bodybuilding lifestyle. You know, for me personally, I actually look for people who are not in the fitness industry to date. I don't want to date people in the fitness industry. I like the complete opposite because I don't want to go home and talk about work or talk about the gym. I don't want to do any of that. I'm doing that all day in the gym. I'm doing that on the podcast. So the last thing I want to do is the person I'm with is talk about training and diet and supplementation. So I'm the complete opposite. But I've also been able to find some balance in my life now where I can have the gym and I can have my diet, but at the same time, I don't mind going out 2 or 3 times a week and having a different meal. I don't mind getting 5 hours of sleep sometimes instead of 8 hours of sleep. Okay, like doesn't really faze me at this point. But if you are trying to pursue that lifestyle, it's very difficult. But like I said, my only advice there you have to be a little less selfish and you have to meet someone halfway. If you want to be with that person, you have to find some common ground, right? You have to give a little, get a little. That's my advice. Okay. Hi, Nick. My workouts have been going really bad lately. I'm weaker on my lifts and burn out faster during my sets. Is this a sign of overtraining? It very well could be a sign of overtraining. It also could be a sign that maybe your diet's not in check, maybe your sleep is off. So there's multiple reasons why strength starts to go down in the gym. So whenever I'm working with someone, let's say it's a client, an in-house client, what I work with in person, and I'm noticing that their weights are they're lifting a little bit lighter weights than they usually do. Like they're burning out like you are more quickly. They're taking longer rest periods. The first thing I'll ask them is, how much sleep did you get last night? That's the first question I ask them. And, if they say to me, I didn't get a really good sleep, I've been stressed out, work has been really stressful, the kids are up and all this stuff, I'm like, okay, it's probably that their body's tired, right? I get it. So I back off on the weights for that 1 or 2 workouts because I can see it. I can see, okay, you know what? We're not going to squat 315 today. We're going to squat 225 because your mind is not in it. And if your mind is not in it, your body's not in it. Second question I ask them is, what's the diet been looking like the last 2 or 3 days? And if I have someone tell me, well, Saturday I went out, oh my God, I was drinking. And Sunday I didn't wake up till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was so hungover. I only had 1 meal. And they're seeing me on Monday. I'm like, great. So you're dehydrated from the binge drinking. You've only had 1 meal in the last 24 hours. No wonder why you're weak in the gym. Your glycogen storages are depleted. So it's like playing a little detective work. Okay. So usually sleep and food are the 2 culprits. That's what I usually notice with a lot of my clients when I notice that they're a little bit off in the gym. But if you're noticing that each workout you're doing is not getting better, that could be a sign it's time to back off the gym for a bit, because that usually is a sign of overtraining. So if you're someone who's like, you know what, I know my diet's in check. I'm getting all 5, 6 meals in a day. I'm getting good enough. I'm getting 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep a night. I'm rested. I'm not stressed. I don't know what's going on. It's most likely that you are overtrained. And in that case, take a day or 2 off the gym. There's been times where I've taken a week off the gym and just because I felt burnt out. And I came back and the first 1 or 2 days, I actually felt a little weaker. But then once the glycogen receptors built back up again, because I'm eating regularly, I'm training regularly, my body's flushing out lactic acid, it's replenishing synovial fluid, I'm right back in, usually lifting the same weights, if not more. So it does help to take some time off. I just don't recommend taking extended periods of time off. But if you need time off, take it. I know it's hard if you really love going to the gym, but I promise you it'll help. So I would look at your training split. I'd look at how many rest days you're on right now. You might just need to take an extra rest day each week. If you're someone who's following a 5-day training split, go down to a 4-day training split for a few weeks. Take an extra day off and just see how you feel. Change up your training routine for a bit too, right? Like I try to advise people when I'm giving them a training split, don't put back and legs on back-to-back days because those are 2 big muscle groups. So if you're training legs on Monday, I usually advise people to try to train their back maybe on Thursday or Friday. So then you at least have like 2 or 3 days in between. Don't do your legs on Monday and do your back on Tuesday. Those are 2 big muscle groups. So it's very hard for the body to recover, right? So when I'm doing a training split like that, I might give someone, let's say, legs on Monday, and then I'll give them arms on Tuesday because arms are a smaller muscle group, right? So they don't need to exert as much energy in the gym to train their arms as they do with their legs. So that's another thing I'd be looking at too is your training split. But when in doubt, take some time off for sure. But I would look at those other factors I mentioned, sleep being one of them, diet being another one, your training split. Look at those 3 and then If things still don't look right, take a week or two off and then come back. You'll feel much better. Nick, in your opinion, is it a good time to buy real estate? Yeah, this question came in through my Instagram earlier this week, and I have a few people asking me about real estate, and it's interesting because it's good. I think a lot of people want to get into real estate because they see the value of it, and real estate has never been like a sexy investment. Like it doesn't create a very fast ROI. I mean, even here in Vancouver, like it takes a while to really see like a profit from real estate when you buy. It's not like getting into the stock market where you can easily make a couple $100,000 overnight, right? But I always think real estate is a safe investment because no matter what, you own something, right? So in times like this, when interest rates, I think they're at like 6% now for a 5-year fixed term, something like that. I mentioned this on my Instagram. I think what's going to happen, I don't know for sure because I'm not a real estate guru, but from talking to 2 of my clients who are real estate agents and just following the market, because a lot of my friends know I like to follow the MLS every day and see what's going on in the marketing trends. I have a feeling, at least for here in British Columbia, the market's going to go down further in the fall and even more in the winter. Like it typically does, right? It's still summer, so prices are still fairly high. I mean, Vancouver prices are always very high, right? So I think it's a good time to buy in the next few months. And I think it's a good time to have capital on hand. So if you've got cash on hand, I mean, save it. Don't just hold on to it for now, and just wait on the sidelines, because you're going to see what's going to happen is a lot of people who cannot afford their mortgages are going to have to put their places on the market, unfortunately. And a lot of times these people are going to have to take a loss. So you're going to see places that were selling for, let's say, 1.6, 1.5 mil, and they're going down to maybe 1.1, 1.2, because people just need to sell fast. So, it's unfortunate for a lot of people, but I mean, it's also a good time for people who are trying to get into this market to get into it. So if you're someone who's been sitting on the sideline for the last 2 or 3 years saying, oh, the prices are just way too high, well, in the next 3 or 4 months, I think it's going to be a good time to make a move. So if it were me right now, I'd be saving my cash and I'd be looking for a deal around October, November, because I think that's when it's going to be a good time to make a move. And not just here in British Columbia, I mean, pretty much everywhere across North America right now, right? So I'm just saying here in BC, that's the way I'm looking at the market trends. There's places that are being sold right now for below assessed value, which is very rare in British Columbia. So if that doesn't tell you something, and that's in the summer, what's going to happen in the winter, and what's going to happen when a lot of these people, when their current mortgage rates expire, and now they're going to have to move on to that like 6% interest rate. They're not going to be able to afford it. That could take a mortgage that was once, say $3,000 a month, easily up to $5,000, $6,000 a month, depending on what you lock in for. A lot of people can't afford that. So I think if you hold on and you wait, November, December, like I said, October, that might be a good time to make a move. You've got some capital on hand, because at least then you'll have a good down payment to put on a place, and that 6% won't seem so scary. Because I mean, listen, if you're putting down 70% on a property, 6% is not going to really make or break you either way. All right, next question. Hi, Nick. Do you have people that you don't look forward to training in the gym? When I used to be a trainer and worked for Fitness World, there were certain clients that would just suck out energy of me all day. Oh, suck all the energy out of me all day. No, I can honestly say I do not have a single client on my roster that I do not enjoy working with. And I can say that honestly because I feel like I put myself in a position after doing this job for 20 years that I can work with people who I want to work with. I don't have to work with people who I don't want to work with or who don't want to work with me. I've never worked for a gym, so every client that's always reached out to me wanted to work with me. I wasn't matched up with a client. Like it wasn't like that someone didn't just come into the gym and say, I want a trainer, and then here I am. Like this person or people seeked out me. They wanted to work with me. So I'm very fortunate to be in that situation. When I first started training, I did have to take on a few people who I just didn't really gel with. And I felt like the hour would just take forever because I could tell the person did not want to be there. The person didn't have anything against me, and I didn't have anything against the person, but you could just tell the person did not want to be there. I have a client who's a dentist, and he says that's how he feels. Like when he's working on a patient, he knows the person nobody wants to go to the dentist, right? So it's like, it's not always a good atmosphere to be in. But with being a trainer, it's funny because most of my clients, they want to be in the gym. I mean, there's days they don't want to be in the gym, but they want to be there and they know I'm there to help them. So it's not something that they're it's not like a very like draining hour for me. So I'm very fortunate though, because I do know that I've spoken to other trainers in the past who've worked for gyms, or they've had to deal with clients that they're just like, this person's either too high maintenance, or this person is constantly showing up late, or is disrespecting my time, or is trying to negotiate my rates. And I'm really lucky because I don't have to put up with any of that. I have people that are honestly, like, yeah, I do have some people that come in late, but that doesn't bother me. I mean, it's their time. I don't ever find if someone's late for a session, I never feel like they're disrespecting me. It's their time. They're paying me for that hour or that half an hour or 45 minutes, whatever time slot they booked. That's their time. So if they show up 10, 15 minutes late, that's up to them. I'm there regardless. But once they're there, they train. And it's because they want to train. And they're not there to waste my time, and I'm not there to waste their time. So again, I just feel like after doing this job for 20 years, I'm very fortunate to work with the people I work with. And I can honestly say there's not a single person on my roster that I don't enjoy working with. And if there was, I would probably just recommend they go train with another trainer, because honestly, it's not worth it to work with anyone who's going to just be a vampire and suck all your energy out of you, right? Because that's going to affect your next session, and it's going to affect the way that you treat your other clients. Then when I go home and work online with other clients, I'm going to be mentally drained from that one individual who took all of my energy for just 1 hour. And that's going to, all that energy is going to be lost on all those other people who need that energy from me, who need to have energy to train them and motivate them and inspire them to go to the gym and to work out. And yes, you can lift that weight. And no, you don't need that much rest period. And yeah, get the hell off your phone, because that's what I do as a trainer and coach. I hold my clients accountable. So if I find there's somebody that's going to be taking that energy and focus away from me, then yeah, I would cut them from my roster and just say it's not a good fit. But like I said, I'm in a great situation. Every single client I work with, I really appreciate the business, and I'm so fortunate to work with people that want to work with me. And I'm super fortunate to work with people who've been working with me for 15 plus years. I have a lot of clients who've been with me since I first started my business back in 2005. Not many trainers can say that. So I'm really fortunate to be in that situation, and lucky for me, I'm not burnt out. And I think it's because I get to work with people who I enjoy working with. All right. Last question. Nick, is it okay to work out if you're feeling sick and run down? I feel the sweat from a workout helps get rid of toxins and boost the immune system. Well, you're probably right. It probably does help release toxins and might help boost your immune system. But I mean, you don't want to get other people sick, right? So if you're coughing and you're contagious, you don't want to go to the gym and get other people sick. That's the one thing I tell clients. I'm like, if you're sick, don't come to the gym, right? Like don't try to be this hardcore person. You're going to put someone else at risk, right? Especially if you're working with someone who maybe is immunocompromised. If you're working next to someone who's elderly, for example, right? Like if you're in a commercial gym and there's elderly people that go there. Now, if you're in a private facility like me, like a little bit different, because there's times where the gym is completely empty. Like I went to the gym on Saturday night, right? And it was empty. I'm the only one in there. So if I wasn't feeling that great, I mean, I could probably go in there and do a workout. I wouldn't get anyone else sick because it's empty. But unless you're training at a gym where you're the only person in there, I wouldn't go there. But I wouldn't go there for that reason. You don't want to get other people sick. It's the same thing I said during COVID. I'm like, I felt when people were testing positive for COVID and were still going to the gym, I'm like, listen, like that's super disrespectful to people who are immunocompromised, right? So like, yeah, you can be all hardcore and say, I'm going to go to the gym. I don't care about a little cold, but if you're putting other people at risk, it's kind of selfish. So I wouldn't go for that reason. But I do agree with you. I think it's a great way to release toxins from the sweat, and people do usually feel better. Like I have people that come to see me when they're hungover, and after the workout, they feel much better, right? During the workout, they feel like shit. At the beginning of the workout, they can barely move. But once that workout's over, they feel like refreshed again, right? So I wouldn't recommend necessarily going to the gym though if you're sick and you're contagious. Better option would be if you have like in my building, we have a sauna and hot tub. If you're the only one in there, maybe go in there for a bit, sweat out some toxins, have a cold shower, and rest, hydrate. Do things that you normally should do when you're sick and contagious. Don't go out there and to the gym and make other people sick and contagious. So I think you have a responsibility to stay at home, recover, rest, and you know what? You'll probably feel better quicker anyway. So, and who knows, if you go to the gym and you're really sick, I mean, you could injure yourself, right? If you're not focused. So I wouldn't recommend it. No, I would take the time off and yeah, just rest, use that time to recover, hydrate, eat, sleep, and come back to the gym feeling fresh again. Anyway, guys, that's it for this week's No Filter Q&A. This episode will be going up on Tuesday, August the 15th. As a reminder, if you do have any questions related to your diet, your training program, or supplements you're taking, not taking, considering taking, please feel free to email your questions at nick@foreverfitperformance.com or DM your questions on my Instagram at @fitcosgrove_. As a reminder, I do have an online coaching app, and I'm always open to working with new clients. If you have any interest in working with me on my app, you can download my online coaching app at the App Store, Forever Fit Performance. And you can email me at nick@foreverfitperformance.com to get started. And yeah, if you have any questions, contact me anytime. Okay, I'm always happy to help. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting my business. Have a great week. Bye for now.